the script for the second part, this video that you're watching right now, I discovered a mistake I made in the first part, which I will call out right now. In my last video I told you that Roger Calioris had decided 4 different factors which determined why a game is fun. And I noticed that I made a mistake. This mistake that strategy was not a part of the 4 category, but mimic was a part, meaning you could deceive your opponent by bluffing or lying, meaning you could swap your Pokemon in a fight to assure that you don't get a super affected move, while your opponent think that you stay with this Pokemon that you're having right now. Phew, I'm actually quite glad that I got this over with. So, anyways, today we are here to talk about emotion, something I don't have. So, let's roll the intro and let's do this shiz. Because I love to talk, let's talk about some scientists. To be more specific, about Charles Darwin. You know this guy. The guy who studied a lot of animal shit and maybe a little bit about animal evolution and evolution itself. But you probably know him as the guy who banged his cousin. But anyways, during his long discovery journey, he saw a lot of different life forms, creatures of different sizes, different looks and different lifestyles. But even though they were so different, they could all feel emotions. But they didn't learn to feel emotion just to explain why they don't like a pair of shoes. But they wanted to communicate surviving factors like, is this food eatable? Is it safe here? Is danger in the near? Is the one before me trustworthy? You know, typical stuff. But to communicate these information, they used one of these many base emotions: anger, disgust, fear, happiness, sadness, and surprise. If you don't remember these kinds of base emotion, just remember the cast of the movie Inside Out and just imagine they had a half-blooded brother called Surprise. But let's return. As a game designer, such things are important to consider when they are designing certain part of a game, because you want the player to experience the right emotion. Like when you get stabbed by the imposter in Among Us, you don't feel happy, you feel betrayed. But wait, isn't feeling an emotion like betrayal not a bad thing? And how can these emotions even help us create the perfect game experience? Well, the simple answer is that even though emotions like betrayal are in our common life not the best feeling in the world, in a game they bring joy and fun into the game. But how can it be? Well, now we come to the complicated answer. Because I don't want to explain it complicated, let's make an example. Emotions are one of the many fundamental elements of a game. And making a game is like cooking. Gameplay, graphic, art style, music and some other shiz are just one of the many ingredients that are needed for the perfect dish. Every one of those certain factors have different properties that make them special and make sure they got this divine feel to it. But in the end, it isn't about filling your belly with delicious food. It is about making an experience. And this is where the wine comes into place. The decoration of the dinner. If you're asking, the wine stands for the emotion. And we need the wine, aka the emotion, to round up the experience of the game, to make us really appreciating the dinner we just experienced. For some, it is too much wine, and some others want more wine. Because in the end, every person is different. But the people who create these games know who their targets are. People that make role-playing games target people who want to experience a new world. A world full of magical things, of incredible things, of feeling powerful, of meeting incredible people and experiencing an amazing story. They want to feel like a kid again, to explore a big wide world, a world they don't know. They want that every small moment is full of wonders, full of life and full of fantasy. So the creators know what to do to make us happy, or the picture of who we are happy, because even then in this certain group everyone is different. Like, we can play, I don't know, 10 hours of Dark Souls and not be frustrated, and some other guy just only needs to play 5 minutes and be frustrated because he can't get over the first boss. Phew, that was a long answer. Anyways, let's go to the second question. And beware, because this will also be a long answer. After realizing that creating a game is like cooking and emotions are the certain decorations, we can assume that emotions are like tools. And you would be correct. Jürgen Fritz explained that he only needed 11 of these basic emotions to make a perfect gaming experience. Later, Martin Lebrun said fuck to the number 11 and said I only need 8 base emotions, and made, with the help of the 8 emotion, the 8 types of fun. And with this, he could summon and control emotions. The first emotion is challenge. So, let's make an example with the Pokemon Nuzlocke challenge. You start your Pokemon Nuzlocke run with the worst possible Pokemon, a Magikarp, and you face against a Dialga. It seems impossible, but your fish got an OP attacks. Even though they're weak, you know if he becomes stronger, you can beat this game. And you not only got a powerful fish, you got the powerful fish, a bloody Gyarados. But only if you overcome the first challenge, because you know you can do this. And because you know that you can do this, it becomes a fun challenge. If you know or if you think you can't do this, it is not fun, but frustrating. Sensation. Normally, we as human beings take sensation with the help of our 5 senses. But in video games, we are only restricted with only 2 senses, visual and audio. And we all know Pokemon got great visuals and even better music, especially in the 2D era. Fellowship. By that I don't mean start a fellowship to destroy the One Ring, but I mean just try to revive your inner child and create a group, a clan or a guild where all of you spend your time and tell together tales about your achievement, like how you beat a Reshiram with Wonder Guard with only a Magikarp submission. And I don't mean the 50 Shades of Grey shit, but in the way of a gambling addict who is addicted to coincidence, something they don't have any control over, have no experience, but they don't care because they are waiting for the jackpot. And the same can be seen in Pokemon, because we are all bitches to coincidence. We don't know what awaits us in the grass, what our next Pokemon will be in our team, and it even becomes way more of a coincidence when we randomize this game. So we are becoming the bitch of coincidence, and we like it. Fantasy. Sometimes we want to flee from our normal lives. We want to be someone different. Someone who can catch a god with a single Pokeball. Who can control a monster who will die for you. And where you can get some great bitches. And I assure you, as a Nuzlocke player myself, they can achieve this. Except for the mad bitches part. But you get my drift. Discover. Well, discovering will not be a main point in a Nuzlocke run, because you already have discovered everything in Pokemon. But for other games, it is important to have this feeling of discovery, like finding around every edge a new thing, a new character, a new addition to the story, a new object, and a new point of the history of the world. This will make your player feel really satisfied when they find these sort of things. Expression. In games where you can express your own thoughts, wishes and dreams by designing your dream car or designing your dream cities, this expression is the real reason why someone is having fun. And even in Pokemon Nuzlocke Runs, you can express yourself by creating your own Pokemon Nuzlocke story, like how a team of mischiefs became the champion. And the last point is narration. Because you already know the story of your favorite Pokemon game and know that this is nothing special, you can get a lot from it. But either way, a good story can sell a game because you become a part of this story. You control the story. And even in some other games, you can even decide how the story ends with the help of multiple choices. In Pokemon, this is not the case. But once again, like I said in the expression, you can make your own Pokemon story in your own mind. So maybe try this. When you make a YouTube video, you make a narration of. And that was it. Those are the main tools. The 8 tools. I'm sorry that this video is now over, but be happy that I will plan out a part 3 for this video. And when all of this is over, I will make it so that all these videos are put together and are one mega video. So be excited for that. And before that, I wish you all a bloody good day and I believe in you. So start believing in yourself. Goodbye.
Hi, it's me again. And as you can see, I try to learn some new stuff about animating and editing. And as you can see, I'm bloody animated. bloody crazy this kind of technology, am I right? Which is why I did my best of editing this video, this part 3, which you are watching right now. And today we are talking about why Pokemon Nuzlock Runs and Pokemon fan games are more beloved than our current Pokemon games right now.
First lesson for today will be to define the word genre. Genres are expression or classification with which the various expression of art, film, literature and music are classified. But like any classification, it will change over time. And the same will happen and also has happened with video games and their genres. For example, the video game Doom was in the year 1993 up to 1997 the definition of what a first-person shooter must be, which is why in this time space every game tried to imitate Doom. Which is why these games were called Doom clones. And because Doom got such a huge impact on the shooter genre, this impact didn't disappear over the time, but was here to stay and helped to form all the upcoming games. But milestones like Doom can't just stay in the spotlight forever, because technology and upcoming games and ideas will be there to take once again the spotlight. And there will be changing the definition of the genre once again. But this is not the only thing that will change. Game creators got a somewhat definition of ourselves, or the pictures of what they think we are. This picture is called a persona, and I don't mean the persona of the game Persona. By that I mean the actual definition of a persona, the aspect of someone's character that is presented to or preceded by others. Of course, this picture of a persona can change over time with the help of new technologies and new game innovations. And a company doesn't just focus on one persona, but got multiple personas and try to keep them happy by trying to preserve what made these kinds of persona interested in these games. Something that Game Freak tries to imitate in their Pokemon games. But we get ahead of ourselves. If the persona is clear, then the creator know what to do. But how do they know if they got the right persona? Well, let's make an example. The genre action. Action games concentrate on fast interaction like hand, eyes coordination, reaction and reflection. Shooter games use 3D room perspective, which need fast reaction and reflexes. You can play them alone or with multiple peoples. And role-playing games like Pokemon trap the player in a new fictional world, which uses mechanics to showcase the growth of the player by letting the avatar grow. It also allows us to explore a new world which the player never seen. With the help of genres, we know the main emotions and interests of what our personas want and what they understand under the definition of fun. With that, we can deduce who our targets are and how to design the games for them. For example, Pokemon was always about exploring new things you don't understand and becoming powerful, becoming someone, becoming the best Pokemon trainer in the whole game. It was also back then a way to connect with other people by trading other Pokemon to evolve specific Pokemons to make them even stronger. Such dreams of exploring a new world you don't understand and also becoming powerful, becoming someone is normally shared by kids and young adults. That doesn't mean that this isn't shared by older people. I mean, look at the isekai genres. But you get my drift, alright? And that was clear from the start. I mean, even the old ads from Pokemon knew that they were targeting kids. I mean, look at this ad. And in the end, they weren't even wrong. Because at the time, it was sold on a Game Boy, a console that was considered a kid's toy. And with the help of reviews, questionnaires and buyer interest and the action of players, they knew who their targets are. So they focused on the part which made everyone interested in these games. The ability to explore a whole new world. But here comes the but. It isn't 1996 and the old kids are now adults. And many of these adults have left Pokemon behind. So a new generation of kids must be interested in this genre. So there once again targets new kids. And because the new kids, the new generation is so focused on things like iPads and laptops, they need to grab the attention of these kids by making the game easier to understand, easier to explore, which is why the Pokemon world in Pokemon Sword and Shield is so wide open, and it is way shorter to beat and to level up, which is why the XP share is once again busted in this game. This will all help to give the player a feeling of they accomplished something when they just, I don't know, sit like 1 hour before the video game and don't look at the newest video about how a guy buys new sneakers or something like this. I don't know what the kids nowadays watch. I am not a kid anymore. I usually watch some Purple Cliff and some explainer videos, maybe now and then some SCP's videos, and listen to Sherlock Holmes cases. But enough of me, let's continue. Even though the main ads are targeting to kids and young teens, they are also targeting another group. Or a group, the old-timers who played Pokemon. So the question is, why do they do that? The answer is to bait us, to get another persona on their board. Don't get me wrong, this is a good business strategy. A strategy that doesn't even involve a lot money to pull off, because you're just reusing old assets. And this isn't a bad business choice, because every 5 years you could bring out a new remake, or you could just, I don't know, put out Pokemon Crystal for the 3DS without having to change anything. And you would still get $10 from each and every customer, new and old. But by doing that, they think they could get away with everything. And they are not wrong. We still buy the newest remake of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, even though the art style, music and extra content isn't enough to satisfy us. Because we know they could do better. We saw Pokemon Heart Gold and Sword Silver and what they did with this game. We saw Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. We saw Pokemon Platinum. We saw Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. So where's the effort that we saw to the prior games? Well, the answer to that could be multiple things. Maybe they became lazy because they learned that we buy everything they're put before us and we still would call it a masterpiece. Or they're too scared to try anything else because everything that goes away from the formula would be met with critique from the fans. But in the end, I call bullshit on that because Mystery Dungeon and Pokemon Rumble did well as Pokemon Unite, or this free-to-play Pokemon game, and Pokemon Taken. But what could I do to make the games better? What kind of story and what kind of Pokemon and characters could they design to make Pokemon great again, or greater? Because I admit I am a Hop fan, but maybe I will give him his own video. But anyways, let's return. Many things could they do better. They could inspire themselves from real-life places, because Galleon, the new generation region, was inspired by England, and I must say, I didn't really realize that this was inspired by England. This video right here that you're seeing right now did a way better job of capturing an England feel in a Pokemon universe than any of Generation 8 could do. They could even go the Assassin's Creed route, where they introduce history in the Pokemon universe and make sure to place them all around the world as collectibles, so that you can be rewarded if you find every single piece of history. It is also important to make the collecting of Pokemon rewarding and not just giving the player a piece of paper where it stands "Congratulations, you found every single Pokemon." Make it like Ni no Kuni, where you as the player got a magic book that when you collect a lot of things, you get rewarded by history, mythical information, children's stories, or even a new Pokemon, or an important item like the XP share. There are so many things that could implement that would make the game even better. But let's talk about different games that the fans made. Pokemon Ash Gray, the whole journey of Ash Ketchum, all designed and ready. What about Pokemon Trashlock or Pokemon Red Kaizo? All games that raises the difficulty. I mean, they don't even need to make a new game. They just need to make a new modus for the game. And finally, Pokemon Team Rocket Edition, a game about betrayal, revenge, and crime. They don't even need to implement the story of Pokemon Team Rocket Edition. They only need to give us the opportunity to become part of Team Rocket. I assume you saw the trend that the fans are done with this kind of bullshit. They want the perfect Pokemon game. And sure, there do happen some bad Pokemon games. But even in the end, they still make more Pokemon games, because with the help of RPG Maker and other programs, they have the opportunity and knowledge to make these games in such a fast time. Sure, fan games don't need to face legal actions, and they have the freedom of making games for adults, but that is not an excuse to try to make better children games that also can be enjoyed by adults or teenagers. I mean, look at all these young adult novels. Harry Potter is still one of the most enjoyable books even as an adult. As my father, he loves Harry Potter. And why is that? Because of the compelling story about friendship, trust, betrayal, and not giving up. Because of the compelling characters like Dumbledore, Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Professor Snape. We stayed there to watch how their story would end. We all bought at least one fan book about Harry Potter and the lore behind it, like Magical Beast and where to find. And why did we do this? Because we were interested in the world they're living in. And Pokemon could do this easily, because like hell, they got the bloody world infected by mythical creatures that could change the world forever. We got a bloody Pokemon that can form into everything. We want to know how the world can handle these kinds of Pokemon. I mean, look at the bloody SCP Foundation. They're got a good balance on how to handle these kinds of creature, and they're still going with their stories. Why can't Pokemon do this? Why do the fans need to do this? Why do we as fans understand Pokemon better as the creators does? Why do Pokemon fans write stories like Pokemon Insurance and Pokemon Clovers, while Game Freak writes Pokemon stories like Pokemon Sword and Shield? I don't know, and to be honest, I don't care right now, because I stay with the Pokemon fan games, because I know they write good stories. They write good Pokemon games. They make good challenges that makes me want to play the game over and over again, just to know if I can beat this game with just a beat roll. They tell us stories about what would happen if England was a Pokemon world. They tell us stories about Pokemon teams like Team Buddies, or about intergalactic time traveling, while Pokemon at Game Freak stays at best at mediocre. They stay and are not willing to grow. This was The Notebook of a Fan with part 3. I wish you all a bloody good day, and I believe in you. So start believing in yourself. Goodbye.
Is this thing on? Well, okay. Welcome to our first real episode of the Notebook Notes, where we will talk about hobbies we as a team enjoy and try to explain why that is the case, as well as explaining how newer hobbies can be considered a menace to our society.
Greg, that isn't part of the script.
But I need to know how bad these new hobbies are, like playing video games.
Greg?
Well, fine. We also talk about the development as well as the importance of hobbies like gaming, reading, cooking, and many more. Gaming. And today's we will discuss one such hobby. What is the hobby once again? I don't remember.
Game design.
Of all our newer games.
Well, the game was released 1998.
Well, that doesn't answer my question. Is it a board or a video game?
It's a video game.
Well, whatever. Scott likes them, so I guess. Today's topic is about game design. To be more specific, about the flow of training. Something most of you don't do in real life. I mean, look at you, how skinny you are. But if you would play a game, your training is always effective and get you somewhere. It is so effective, in fact, that you forget how long you already sit there. And today, we want to answer this question. Why that is the case? Well, dear viewers, we will answer this question today because we sent a reporter in the world of Pokemon who is about to interview one of the self-insert main protagonists. And I tell you following, this reporter is one of our best reporter ever. I am sure he's currently in front of the main protagonist and already has finished his interview. So good to see. I am of course talking about our main reporter, Scott Alex. Scott, please tell us, how's it going?
Greg, you didn't open the portal. I am still here, still waiting for you to open the portal, so that I can finally end the charade and get my paycheck and get back to work. So, would you kindly open this portal?
Oh, yeah, right. Let's give me a second. Okay, when was this game released?
1998.
Oh yeah, okay, alright. On which system was it?
You're really asking me on what system Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow came out. Are you serious?
Well, excuse me? I don't know what the hell you're even talking about most of the time, so please tell me. I really don't know which system came this game out.
it came out on the Game Boy. And before you ask, the normal Game Boy. Not the Game Boy Advance, not the Game Boy SP or Game Boy Color.
Right, okay. Which category is this game? It's an RPG.
Alright.
I think I got it. Okay, bottle's open, but I must warn you. What is it? Well, you see, because it is such an old game and we are currently not in a game dimension, your body needs to adjust to the setting.
Okay, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's going to be painful, real painful, and I don't have pills against the pain.
I'm not getting paid enough for this job, am I?
What do you mean? You get like $2,000 a month.
That's what I said. Okay, let's get it over with.
Alright, let's go.
I'm really not getting paid enough to do all this. Now I am in the Pokemon world and I don't even have healthcare. And also, I look now like I'm an 8-pixel picture. I'm no longer HD. Whatever, let's get this over with so that I can go back to my work. Hello dear viewers, today I'm talking about something you all probably know. Pokemon, the famous and classic RPG of all time. I mean, show a picture of a yellow red and everyone knows this is Pikachu. But that would be the only thing they would know, because every other Pokemon they see are also considered as a Pikachu. Even this level 55 Dragonite here. Even though this self-insert player called... Okay, what is he called? You gotta be kidding me. Red69 made sure to spend 12 hours of intense training to train a Dratini up to level 55 just to let it evolve into a mighty and powerful Dragonite, so that no one would focus on his ridiculous name. But these 12 hours he had spent of achieving this goal didn't feel for the player like he spent 12 hours. Sometimes it felt like only 2 hours had passed, but when he made a small break and returned to train his Pokemon for another hour, he felt like he was spending around 4 hours on such a simple task. So, the question you all should asking yourself is, why is that the case? Well, to answer this, I made some notes as well as made sure to have an interview with the main protagonist and self-insert character Red69. So let's get to him. And on our way, let's get some basics done. Many gamers have experienced a kind of hypnotic state where a person is in a complete state of focus, and during that time the person can either feel like time passes by really fast or passes by in slow motion. But fear not, dear viewers, this is not boredom that I just described when schoolwork just doesn't click with you. The thing I just described is called a flow. But I know that this wasn't a satisfying answer to all our questions, and because we are still not there to our main interviewer, let me make a more in-depth analysis and explanation to the topic by looking at one of the most important studies about flows by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi or something like this. I can't pronounce it, so I assume someone would edit it in. Alright. Anyways, he developed one of the most notorious flow or game flow concepts. And he did that by making sure that the gamer was in a situation where nothing could distract him from the task itself. But even if the gamer is completely alone, there still needs to be 3 important elements that make sure that you are in a flow state. These 3 flow states are also present in games like Pokemon, especially by games like Pokemon. Now let's talk about the first point of how to get into the flow. And this first point is about the task. You see, you need a simple task, because when you are doing a simple task, your brain starts to spill neuron chemicals that gives you an extra feeling of being awake and having self-control. This status of self-control was seen in every kind of profession. It was seen by athletes and even surgeons. You may be asking, how can this be? How can a surgeon even get into a flow-like state when his job is completely unthinkable hard? Well, dear viewers, let me explain. The activity that you need to do needs skill, and this skill which is needed can't overwhelm or underwhelm a player or a professional surgeon. This means that the task as itself can't be too easy, because then the person would be bored and his thoughts would drift up and he would think about anything else beside the task. When it's too overwhelming, his thoughts are completely concentrated on the task itself and nothing else comes into his mind, and he doesn't know what to do, meaning he can't enter the flow state, which means that the difficulty always need to rise and fall. For example, as I read the notes about the prodigy trainer Red69, I noticed that he knows a lot about the Pokemon games. He knows about every type advantage, he knows about IVs, he knows about natures, and he knows where to train his Pokemons at any level. Or to keep it short, he's the perfect trainer. So something like this, training a Dratini from level 5 up to level 55, where it will evolve into a Dratini, would be easy, because he knows how to not overwhelm or underwhelm him or his Pokemon. He knows how to keep the perfect balance when he trains his Pokemon. The same thing can be seen by professional athletes and surgeon. Both of them know what they are doing. They are not overwhelmed or underwhelmed by the things they are doing. But let's take for example a less experienced player who plays Pokemon for the first time. He would have a much harder time leveling up a Pokemon from level 5 up to level 55. Heck, he would even have a problem leveling up a Pokemon from level 5 up to level 30. He wouldn't achieve this flow state, mostly because he doesn't know how to find those simple training places, and he doesn't know how to react to different kinds of situations, like power points are used up, your Pokemon is poisoned, and so on. Or to keep it short, a less experienced player is way too easily overwhelmed to achieve a flow state. The same would happen with an underexperienced athlete or surgeon. So make following note. To achieve a flow state, the tasks need to be simple, but not too simple, because then it would become boring. It also can't be too overwhelming, because then you can't continue, because it would become too overwhelming. Meaning you need to find a ground between those lines, and also make sure that your tasks always increase and decreases to keep the flow state. Now let's come to part number 2. After you have a rather simple task, which isn't that simple, that is boring, you need a goal that gives you on your way some kind of feedback. And this is the thing Pokemon, other RPGs, and basically any other video games are the champions in. Because video games can easily implement feedback to the players. Such feedback could be a simple sound when you level up, better stats when you level up, a new transformation when you level up, a new move when you level up, or when you follow certain steps like maximize all the friendship level of your Evoli. Your Evoli evolves, you get a new Pokemon, and you get a positive feedback from the game because you did something that moves the game forward. You achieved something, and that makes you happy, and your brain rewards you with dopamine, which is a chemical that our brain uses to reward us when we do something vital to our life, like learning something, eating, or doing work that have clear goal and a feedback. You're probably wondering, how can gaming fulfill one of these 3 vital elements, like learning, working, or eating? And I must say, it is true that it can't please all 3 parts, but it can please the learning part. You're probably wondering, how can gaming fulfill one of these 3 vital elements, like learning, working, or eating? And I must say, it is true that it can't please all 3 parts, but it can please the learning part. Because when we are gaming, we always learn something. In Dark Souls, we learn the pattern of the boss. In Pokemon, we learn the type advantages. In Minecraft, we learn different crafting recipes. And when we finally use this knowledge that we learned over the time and finally beat down the boss in Dark Souls, finally beat down the gym leader in Pokemon, and finally built our dream house in Minecraft, we feel like we achieved something, and that makes us happy. But like any achievement, this can lose its power or meaning. When you can get it really simply done, you become really skilled and even master this craft of gaming, and therefore get less dopamine and become less motivated of doing this. The best example that I can show for is the game Tic-Tac-Toe. You can play it like 1 or 2 times, but then you have mastered it and every duel will end in a draw. So what do? Well, some simply take a break, but some other people make the game that they are playing even harder by challenging themselves by using, for example, in a Pokemon game, a new game mode, the so-called Pokemon Nuzlock mode, where you can only catch one Pokemon at a route. And when it faints in battle, you can't use it anymore because it is considered as dead. And when your whole team of 6 Pokemon or less Pokemon is fainted, you need to reset your whole game. This not only makes it difficulter, but makes the victory even more satisfying than it was in a usual playthrough, because you beat Pokemon in hardcore mode, something not anyone could do in your friend group. Meaning you even got respect from your fellow players. For more explanation about why this is such a good thing, please watch my video Why Do We Love Pokemon Nuzlock Runs. But beside positive feedback, there is always negative feedback. Like when you're losing a Pokemon or lose 1,000 times to the boss in Dark Souls, you realize you need to change your strategy to make sure that the difficulty is once again not too difficult, but in the right middle. So take your notes and write following down. When you have a goal, make sure it has some kind of feedback, either positive or negative. And now let's come to part 3 before we finally reach our destination. And let me tell you, part 3 is the most complex thing to understand, because the rule of part 3 follows a paradoxon. This paradoxon is the control of even achieving this goal, even when you don't know how long this would take, because the game controls you, even though you control the game. You're probably confused, so let's make an example. When you play games, you usually hear a voice telling you stuff like just one more level, just one more round, just one more level up. This is mostly because of the dopamine we get when we do something vital, and we want to get rewarded once again. So we try to achieve this once again. But here comes the question. When do we achieve this? We don't know, because the game decides when we achieve this. For example, in RPGs, a level up is decided of how much EXP, aka experience points, we as a player need to level up. And these experience points are decided on which Pokemon we are fighting. If a Pokemon is lower leveled and not fully evolved, we get less experience points. If this Pokemon is higher leveled and completely evolved, we get more experience points. But in the end, we still don't know when we level up. So, meaning we can't control this, but we can control how long we are sitting there and playing this game. We can also control how intensely we are playing this game. And with that, we are starting to control this game. So, take your notes. Step 3 is controlling the game when the game is controlling you. Well, that was a long list, but I must say I'm quite glad that I actually talked about so many things I am quite enjoying. Well, but now that I'm at my destination and I need to interview someone, let's get back to the usual stuff, like interviewing this failure of an intimidating name, Red69. And according to my guardians, this is the place where I need to be. But like always, no one is here. This seems to be promising. Wait, what the? Who the hell is that? Some kind of machine. Wait a minute, why the hell is it glowing? Why the hell is it glowing? Oh shit! He's shooting lasers! Greg, for the love of God, bring me out of here!
But what about Red 69?
Forget that loser, I will not die for $2,000. You got that, so bloody hell, get me out of here before I'm gonna kick your ass. Alright. I mean, your life is important. I will open this portal. Alright, Guardians, your DNA. There, it's open. What the hell was that?
Well, I really don't know. I mean, Something like this shouldn't exist in the Pokemon universe.
Well, it sure as hell did. So I'm asking you, are you sure you sent me to Pokemon Red or Blue?
Yes, so it stands here. I'm also confused.
So what the hell did I face right now? Wait a second. Could it be? No, it can't be.
What can't be? Stop with this anime shit and tell me, what do you mean? So that I can make sure that something like this would never happen again.
Yo, bro, can I have my moment, please? I mean, I almost just died for a bloody interview. So please, let me have my fun before I get my $4,500.
You mean $2,000? No, after that, I want a raise. Fine, okay. You get a raise. I mean, you really deserve this one.
But please tell me, what was happening there? I am not sure, but I believe that Red 69, the one that we were searching for, was this robot.
You gotta be kidding me. That can't be. I mean, I've seen a lot of crazy things in my superhero days. But something like this?
Greg, that was a good joke. You're bloody 60, 70 or 50 American superhero. You experienced a lot more weirder stuff back in your days. I mean, if I remember correctly, Batman was once a genie.
Sure, okay. So please, for the love of God, tell me, what the hell happened?
Well, you see, when a human in the real world experienced a flow state, when every three aspects being used, multiple things are happening. Such things could be a fusion of action and awareness, which would create spontaneous automatic action and reaction, meaning a person would concentrate on the task before him in complete focus and without any thoughts of what he's exactly doing, because there's no room for thoughts other than the direct concentration of the task itself. The person loses any of his self-confidence or personality because he became so entranced in this flow state that all his action became automatic, like a robot. But I am not done yet. Because in some cases, this player gets a distorted sense of time. Oddly enough, this can go either way. In some cases, time may seem to slow down and everything seems to be in slow motion. Sometimes, time seems to be speeding up. It comes often suggested that the player only wants to play briefly, a few minutes, but then time just passes by really quickly, like I explained earlier. Because we are so concentrated on the task, we forget the time.
Amazing, but at the same time, this sounds really dangerous. No wonder video games are such a menace to society. I mean, like you explained this right now, how the hell should someone like this get out of this flow state?
Well, first of all, this isn't something negative. If we can achieve this in our real life, like in our workplace, schoolwork, or office work, we would become the perfect employee. But if you want to ask how to get out of this flow state, then I can only say there needs to be an outside force. Something outside from the game or the task itself should distract you. Meaning that parents, friends, or simply hunger can get someone out of this flow state. I mean, you all put me out of my flow state, for example, when I was working on a new game. And I assume that you experienced something similar with your prior sidekick when you were working on some gadgets.
Ah, yes, the good old times, before he became edgy. Well, I sure didn't expect something like this to happen, but I must say, good work. You really have deserved this race. So, I don't know what to say, except for have a good day or something. I really don't know what to say. I never was a boss or something.
It's okay, don't worry. I just really need a rest from this day, so I wish you a good day, and goodbye.